guapa. A couple of years ago, Kevin liked it so much, he said, Bob, you have to do this, and he came back just to see this presentation. Now, it's not just native fishes for the Planet Aquarium, it's some fish that you should not try to keep in a Planet Aquarium too. So if you're out fooling around, you're in a stream, you're visiting your mother-in-law, you need to get out of the house, you go fish collecting, you can bring stuff home, what to bring home, what not to bring home. Okay, so collecting methods, various types of nets. I use on the left there, a one-man seine, just run through the water up to the bank, dip net, have a bucket. If you have frail things, some of the minnows, things for faster current, you should probably have a little portable area around your bucket. Okay. Local species, we've got sunfish, centrarchids are kind of like cichlids, minnows, shiners, dace chubs, like they're cyprinids, like barbs, barbs and danios, darters, which you don't have anywhere else, Achilles and catfish. Okay, lepomids, the sunfish, the centrarchid, those big cichlid-like fish. You probably know about the bluegill. This is what a breeding male looks like. You could conceivably put these in a big tank, but what you have to be concerned about is if you do bring one home, it's going to start nesting, and when it nests, it's going to dig that big round hole in the middle of your planted tank. So that's something to think about. This is a smaller one that only gets to about 5 inches. They're real cool to breed in the tank. I did it once, but they're going to dig a hole in your tank, just like any big, ugly cichlid would. Uh-oh, what happened?
That's retribution for the cichlid comment.
Hey, you know, Wayne Liebel likes big ugly cichlids, right? But they can't be too colorful. Another kind of centrarchid, Neacanthus, they're much smaller. We have 3 species throughout the Northeast and parts of the South. Black-banded sunfish, blue-spotted, banded. This was originally about an hour presentation. We got I'm not going to go into too much detail. We've got the blue-spotted, the one in the middle here in the Potomac. They're a little bit more tolerant, a little less fussy. My favorite is the black-banded. They're kind of like a cross between angelfish and tiger barbs, not mean like tiger barbs. Easy in that delicate. They will harass each other and sometimes kill each other off. I don't know how they do it. They don't seem to do any damage. But if you keep them and don't crowd them, you should be okay. They're a soft water fish. They're like rainwater. They're threatened in Virginia, Maryland, and lots of other parts of their range. You can't collect them unless you have and you can't own them unless you have an aquaculture permit. I brought some in from South Carolina many years ago from the NAFTA meeting and bred them for a while and kept them going. And it got too much for me, so I gave them to Frank. So even though you can't collect these, you can buy them from Frank. So just a little bit of an aside. I went to North Carolina last weekend on a bird expedition to go get lots of different kinds of fish. And I met Gerald Potter, whom I haven't seen since the NAFTA trip where I first collected these things to breed. And I said, you know, and at the time, one of the meetings, I just managed to talk him out of a couple of favorites he had, and those didn't survive. The ones I collected in South Carolina did. And I said, you know, I actually got those things to breed, and I bred them a couple of generations. It got too much for me to harvest brine shrimp every morning and feed them before I went to work, feed them fried. So I gave them to Frank, and he said, you know, some lady gave me some, but she didn't collect them. She bought them from some guy in Maryland. So it's all like fish parring. So that if you breed something and get going for a while, can't keep it, give it away, it'll all come back to Frank. Again, the black banded breed soft, acid, low hardness. The other ones not so much. Minnows, shiners, and dace, cyprinids. Just a lot like the barbs and danios, really cool. I have not bred these yet. I'm hoping to get a trip together maybe in the spring. All stream fishes, they're all stream fishes. They tend to need some current, not as much as some of the other things. This is our catfish convention. That's me in the red shirt. I don't know, Josh is in there somewhere. It's his picture too. Really, really cool stream. We get in the bus, we drive a few hours, we talk on the bus, we stop at the barbecue place on Route 29. Oh, this is the Rivanna River near Charlottesville. So it is a haul from here. You need a good, nice, clean stream. And there aren't too many. We're close in. The streams are kind of degraded. I'm sorry, Virginia, yeah. Charlottesville, Virginia. Okay. Rosy side grapes, and you notice these are in Oakton. I went with J.T. Thomas, who just doesn't love us anymore. He never comes to these things. I'm so hurt. But J.T. Thomas and Tom Rand, who I haven't seen these things either, but instead of going south at the exit, we go north. These are in the Wolf Trap Stream. So they have this nice little red band. They don't need all that much current. They put up with my tank. They were in with a gourami. That's not a native fish. That's just a gourami now. Okay. Black-nosed dace. That one has a yellow band on the lateral band. Non-spawning, they don't look so much. They color in the spring. Very variable. Sometimes orange, sometimes green, but tough. These tend to be in most of the streams around here. They're hard to kill. The rosy side, in my experience, if the stream is kind of clean, that'll be the dominant fish. If the stream is typical, like most of them do, you'll find these things instead. Farther afield, so you get down on 95, you go to the Roanoke drainage, out into the Shenandoah drainage, out by Virginia Tech, you get mountain red-bellied dace. I'm hoping to come up with an overnight in the spring to get some of these when they're spawning. Derek Wheaton said he would show a group of us around out of Blacksburg where he lives. You better believe it, yeah. Okay. All right, farther afield, rainbow shiners. Adrian asked me about these, but she had to leave. But if Adrian were here, I would tell her these are from Alabama. They get this spectacular green color. Again, like your barbs and danios. This may even be Eric Bodrock's photo, I forget. But somebody just put some rocks in a container, probably directed a power head or a filter flow out of it. And they will spawn in that. You take the container out, put it somewhere else, maybe put a little bit of heat, bring it up to the 70s, and the fry will hatch out of that. Okay. Again, have a good field guide if you're out there getting away from in-law events and know what you're picking up. This is the Peterson Field Guide. This is the best there is. You can get it online, and if there are any bookstores left, you can get one there too. So say you caught a nice little minnow like that. Oh, look, it's got orange fins. Wouldn't it look so nice in my 10-gallon tank? But that happens to be a golden shiner, and it grows. It gets bigger. That's a little smallish for one. Okay, darters. We have the fantail darter. These are cool. Some people tell me they can get them to eat flake or pellets. I kept them many years ago. They don't have a swim bladder. That means if you keep them in with faster moving minnows or anything else that can get around freely in the water, those things are going to eat the food before the darter gets to it. So again, they tend to like live food. So what I used to do was get a turkey baster and blast flatworms or brine shrimp or something in their faces. I don't do that anymore. I've kept darters about 10 or 15 years. Many people like them. This one is the fantail. These little specks, I don't know if you can see on the dorsal, are eggs, egg mimics, is what they're called. So it stakes out a territory in a cave under a rock. The girls come by, see the eggs, and say, oh, this guy is a successful spawner. If I leave my eggs with him, he'll take care of them. And so they lay their eggs on the underside of the rock. So that's just what really, really cool. I don't know any other fish that has egg mimics like that. So rifflefish, fast currents, there's no swim bladder, they're kind of streamlined, long pectoral fins, so they like a strong current. On the stream, they hug the bottom. Often you'll find them under rocks. Good oxygenation, so I don't know if you've got your typical planted tank like Gavin described, moderate flow, not too much, not too little. I don't know how they would do it, especially if you're putting CO2 in it. So you would have to try this and send me an email and let me know, because I don't. And if you do it, you tell me you did okay with it in a CO2 tank, I'll put it in the next upgrade of this presentation. Okay, rainbow darter. We got these here. They're not supposed to be here. They are in the next drainage over. What is it? Over on the other side of the. No, they're in the Potomac drainage, but they're not supposed. No, beyond the mountains, past the Shenandoah. What's the next? What's the mountain range after the Shenandoah? That one. Yeah, probably. So they're in the drainage that goes eventually to the Mississippi. We're in the drainage that goes to the Atlantic. But now, somehow, they're in the Potomac River system, as Terry was saying. So they're out at Leesburg. I've got them up by Hagerstown and stuff. These are gravel spawners. They bury themselves in the gravel and leave their eggs. So again, people will put a cup of gravel in the tank under the filter outflow, and then they'll sift through the gravel for the eggs. Okay. Sculpins. We got two, mottled and Potomac. If we have any deep sea fishermen here, they know what a sea robin is. This is a big marine family that has made its way into little freshwater streams. They are spectacularly ugly. They've got all sorts of barbs and hooks on them, I guess, to hold the current and keep anything bigger, like a trout or something, from eating it. But they're smart. They figure out that it's you that feeds them. They figure that out in a hurry. Again, they have, like darters, no swim bladder. You have to give them food on forceps. They'll do okay on blackworms, but they're really, really predatory. I have seen them chasing crayfish around that were many times bigger. Okay, so most look alike, all are extremely predacious. So that's one with somebody's black-nosed dace, I guess. But they'll do that. They'll wait. They look kind of like rocks, I don't know, but until something gets close, and then they eat it. I had a tank full of them once. They each established their own territory, waited for me to show up with blackworms or rosy red feeders. Again, I don't keep them because high oxygen requirements and having to individually feed them, and the fact that they ate all my darters. Killifish. We got some killies here. Not spectacular like the ones from South America and Africa. This is the banded killifish, Fundulus diaphanous. They're in all over the tidal freshwater Potomac. So if you were to just go to Mount Vernon, drag a seine, looking for snakeheads, not getting snakeheads, you would probably get one of these. By the way, the snakeheads eat these. So they get a little bit blue, nothing too spectacular, but people try them. They could probably take a much less current, much less flow. Hard-ish waterfish, although there's a population in Paintcraft Creek, University of Maryland, that's very soft water. They seem fine. Okay. Local estuarine fish, the mummy chog, Fundulus heteroclitus, the sheep's head's minnow, that's a pupfish. The pupfish are a little on they have a bad attitude often. They kind of chase other fish around. I've kept the mummichog, which is in with them. The mummichogs take the top, the surface. These things take the bottom. Nobody gets hurt. They're both kind of tough fish. I said estuary, that means they like some salt. You can adapt them to hard water with calcium. So the calcium ion for a lot of these salt/freshwater fish, brackish water fish, will take the place of salt, so you won't need so much salt. Maybe with mummichog, you'd be cut it out entirely. Salt's not good for plants, right, Kevin?
Not really.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to check with the expert. Catfish, mad tom catfish, little teeny catfish, maybe that big, really huge one would be about that big. This is what we go for when we have our catfish convention in 2016. There are 130 species. They're not what we would call colorful. They're kind of brown, less than 4 inches. They're nocturnal. You tend not to see them. Very, very predatory. The spines are venomous. If you get stung with this, I don't know, people liken it to a bee sting. I've been stung by both. I think this hurts a little more. I got stung the last trip. I will tell you, their fins are like sharper than hypodermic needle. I found that out the hard way. I just reached in the neck, didn't see it, and I was amazed at how sharp it was. It took about an hour before it stopped hurting.
They get you really good.
Yeah, this was a little one, and I'm really careful with mad toms and fish hooks. We have two, the margin and the tadpole. You can sort of see there are differences. People who are really into it can tell you the differences. I just don't care. You get one, you get the other. They're really good eaters. You feed them. Maybe Terry bred them 1 year in her stingray tank. I don't think she was trying 2 years in a row. So.
They like a couple years apart. I never tried to. They just.
Yeah, they just bred. I've never tried to either. You won't see them much, but there are catfish people. Catfish people like fish they don't see, so that's why I bring it up. Okay. Now, something to be careful of. Again, when you're tooling around, things turn up in your net. I had to cut out some pictures. You want the adipose fin, this back fin here, to be attached to the tail. You want it to be continuous. Because many things with the adipose fin, that's a little fleshy fin, I don't know what it does, but members of this family have it. I don't know why. There are no bones in that fin. It's just there. But it's not attached. It's not continuous. It can get very big. There are catfish in the Potomac that will reach pounds, like maybe 40 or 50. So that's a channel catfish. That can get 5, 10 pounds. They're all predatory. So a predatory fish that gets big is going to do what with your other fish?
Eat them.
Yes, it's going to eat them. That's just it. So that's the one way. If there is an independent adipose fin, put it back unless you're prepared for this thing to grow. Okay. Natives for nanos. Elasiva, pygmy sunfish, all throughout the South. I think they go up. They go as far as North Carolina. I did get any. There are a bunch of species. Some of them are threatened and endangered. Some of them are not. I think 3 are endangered, 3 are not. Get your field guide out. Kind of realize what you might be getting. Don't take the endangered or threatened ones. Take the other ones. The endangered ones are probably just a little bit prettier, but they're all a nice looking fish. So just don't break the law, don't mess with it. Put the endangered ones back, and take the non-endangered ones. Evergladii, the Everglades pygmy sunfish, That is not endangered. That kind of likes the hard water in Silver Spring, and that's the one I've kept. They tend to need live food. You can put them on a 2.5 gallon tank. Buy a portion of blackworms at the local aquarium store. Put them in there, come back in 2 weeks, feed them again. The only problem with these things is they're so undemanding. If you have them in an out of the way windowsill tank, you might forget them, and then if something happens, somebody gets sick, then they die. But otherwise, they're so undemanding. They proliferate. Enough of the fry survive so that you can colony breed them without doing anything remarkable or even adding any food for the fry. I think green water helps. Vinegar eels couldn't hurt. I like vinegar eels, not so much the other ones, microworms. I tend to kill those, and if the fish don't eat it right away, they'll die in the water. But the vinegar eels will survive forever. Okay. Yeah, colony fits in a 2.5 gallon windowsill tank. That's one of my many colonies.
How many fish are in that one?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have one now, but it's varied from anywhere from a pair to like 40 or 50. So, least killifish. They are not a killifish. They're a live bearer. But that's the name. They're stuck with it. These are really, really tiny and undemanding. They're not quite so colorful, but they have a personality. Females will get, I don't know, maybe, what, 1.5 inches. Males, about 1/2 inch. But unlike the other live bearers in the hobby, these practice something or don't practice. And they don't have to practice, they're good at it. These are capable of something called superfetation, which means that they have like one baby a day, just in perpetuity. So you get a female, you're out, you're tooling around the canals in South Florida or wherever, just taking a break from a family event. And then you bring it home, put it in a 2-gallon windowsill tank, come back at the end of the summer, there's a whole bunch of them. Not so demanding, they will eat flakes. I have a 10-gallon, I've got a little colony getting started at work. I've never done this before. I've never been able to just stop in the middle of the day and look at the fish and see what they're doing. I usually feed them, maybe I feed them in the morning, then I go in at night, feed everybody, and then of course everybody says, oh, Bob showed up, he's got the food. And they stop what they're doing because they know I'm going to give them food. But they're actually tough on each other. I never knew this. And the males will kind of bully the females, they'll just like strafe them a little bit. And then the females will like, hey, what is this? And then the females will go right back at them. I have never known. There's like a whole pecking order among these little harmless fish. And the males, I've seen the males displaying. I think I put a video of the males displaying on my Facebook page. Bob on Facebook. Facebook outed me, took away my alias, so I have to use my real name. So if you scroll down, you'll see that video. Of these. It's like, guys, you are 1/4 inch long. This is the 2.5 gallon tank. Why are you fighting over it? But I guess they don't realize any of that. Okay, bluefin killifish, Lucania bootii. I got a specty. These will often come in feeder tanks, feeder shrimp like the least killies. So House of Tropicals, I regularly go up there just to check the feeder tanks. If you give them $1 per fish, they'll scoop them out for you individually. So the males have that little bit of blue color in the fins. The females, not so much color. But they're a regular killie. They do what killies do. They lay eggs in mops. Only about that big. These would be really good for a low-flow, heavily planted tank. Again, they have a little bit of pecking order, but they don't do each other any real damage. Okay. All right. Now this includes our presentations for the day. We're about ready to wrap up. Most states allow collecting of bait fish with a fishing license. You can always check local regulations. You want to check that. You don't want to bring a game fish home, have it in your bucket, and then have some game warden say, what are you doing with that thing, and then hit you with a fine. Likewise, I know some guys in the Killie Club. I wouldn't mention any names, Jim Long, that went collecting in the Rappahannock drainage. And some of them didn't have licenses, and they got hit with a heavy fine. But that's a story for another day. Okay, never, ever release fish into local waterways. You could be introducing a disease or parasites. You could introduce something that can out-compete something that's supposed to be there.
You can get up to a $5,000 fine.
Yeah, probably most people who do that don't know any better and don't get caught. But I mean, I'm just trying to instill in people in this brief 20-minute talk a love for the environment and a respect for it, and not to go moving things around and putting them in places where they don't belong, because they can cause all sorts of trouble. And you saw how many problems that snakehead has caused. By the way, the bluefin killer, that is its main food now. So bluefins are pretty tough. They breed a lot. They get out of the way. I don't think they're going to be in any trouble, but you never know. What also helps is that people shoot these things with bow and arrows and catch them and bring them home to fillet them and put them on the grill. So
I understand that.
I heard they're really good.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I have not encountered one, but yeah, and I don't really like cleaning fish. And I mean, it's a lot of trouble for something I'm not particularly crazy about. So that's it. Thank you very much for having me.